All right, welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Dollar Bin Digging. This is the video series where I talk about those cheap books you can still probably pull out of those dollar bins, those cheap boxes, those discount boxes, stuff that's based off of some recent news, rumors, announcements, things going on in the comics, TV, movies, anything that really sparks, my interest and gives me an idea of some books that you guys can probably find out there in those cheap boxes. Hopefully you're enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Please let me know in the comment section. Like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Make sure you check out the article tomorrow over on comicbookinvest.com, where I'm just going to do quick little write-ups and share some of the books that we are showing off here. And I do have some more details to give you on our 12 days of Christmas. Not to confuse you, it's not only going to be 12 days, just between now and Christmas. I'm going to be giving away 12 things. If you guys were watching yesterday's tax show, we already gave away one prize, so we are down to 11. But I still got 11 prize packs to give out to you guys, including that now hard to find and sold out Deadpool Biggie Smalls book. I mean, this thing is now hitting like 150 bucks, and it could be yours as part of a bigger prize pack by picking the right one if you were one of our winners. Because again, we still have 11 more to go. And these announcements could come at any time on any show over the next couple of weeks. Might be on the live shows, might be on a recorded show like today. I'm going to give everybody a chance. So this way, if it is on something recorded, this way, if you guys watch things on the replay, you still have a chance to partake as well. So like I said, just keep an eye on the content this month and get yourself a chance at winning some some fun prizes. Lots of comics, toys, and oddball stuff that I just want to give away and give back to you guys, the viewers. And just have some fun. I mean, the comics and all this stuff, it's supposed to be fun. So let's just have some fun. So if you want to see what books I want to talk about this week, all you got to do is hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. All right. So, want to see what books I have for you this week? Well, we'll get to that in a second because, as I noted in the open, this could happen on any show, basically at any time. And right now, we're going to get right into it and do one of our 12 days of Christmas giveaways. Yes, that's right. That's me in a very large stocking holding up these prize packs because, again, I have 12 of these. Now, you might not actually get mailed everything inside of one of these. It's a bubble mailer, but it will contain the books. Like some of these are going to require some boxes because, again, there are some toys to be given out as well. So what you're going to have to do for this giveaway, this is our second one, you are going to have to tell me in the comment section of the video down below, not in the live chat if you're watching this live with me tonight on Thursday, down in the comments below, tell me your best dollar bin find. And when you tell me what your best dollar bin find is, you also need to provide me the number that you choose. You got to pick a number from what's left. And why I say what's left is because, like I said, we have 12 prizes to give away, numbered 1 through 12. But we already gave one away yesterday on the tax show. And the number that is off the board was lucky number 7. So 7 is off the board. You can't pick number 7 because that prize pack is already gone. And it's going to Landlubber Comics. And he got these, what was it again? Oh, these J. Scott Campbell books. So we got a couple of J. Scott Campbell exclusives in his prize pack. And so that one's off the board. So there's no number 7. So again, all you got to do is tell me in the comment section down below your best dollar bin score, you digging out of those dollar bins, and pick a number. That's not number 7. 1 through 12, that's not number 7. And then I'll give you guys, this is airing on Thursday, I'll give you guys until Sunday. So basically through Friday and through Saturday. Once Saturday is over, I'll announce on Sunday who the winner is. I'll take a look. I may want to run a wheel, do a quick little recording, and reveal the books for that winner. In a quick little video. Maybe it'll be just something posted in the community post, but something you guys will be able to see on the channel. I'll put that up on Sunday for you to announce, who won that one, because maybe we might do another one on the live show on Sunday. I don't know. We'll see how things shake out. Again, I have no real plan behind this. I just want to give stuff away and want to have some fun. So hopefully you guys find this fun and just take part. Tell me what your favorite score was. Favorite dollar bin score, and pick a number 1 through 12. That's not number 7. You pick number 7. Unfortunately, you're not going to get anything. I'm going to move on to somebody else. So don't try to be the smart guy picking number 7 because it's gone. Now, with that all said, you guys think about it, what your books might be. Let's get into this week's books. This week's books, we are going to start off with our first little story. Some of these are stories that I picked up from last week. I was going to do a video last week, but then it was Thanksgiving, so I had no time. So we're doing it today, catching up on some of these things. And we're going to go back to the Deadpool 3 rumors, where they're searching for a female for the villain. Who could it be? We already talked about this here on this show as well a couple of weeks ago, where I also was buying into some of the rumors. It could be Danger. Yes, it could be Danger. So maybe you go find that astonishing X-Men number 9 for Danger's first appearance there. Yeah, it's still a possibility. But we already covered that one. So we're not going to talk about that. Since nothing has been announced, we can still kind of guess and have some fun with this. So who are some other possibilities of a female villain that would make sense to face off against both Deadpool and Wolverine? Another option, a popular option out there, is Lady Deathstrike. I mean, she is a very similar skill set to Wolverine with the claws. She could also face somebody like Deadpool pretty easily because he is more of a street level, but with a healing factor, a lot of slashing, ripping, a lot of injuries that could come from fights between those guys and Lady Deathstrike. She's had a couple of different looks, and she's even been in the movies already. She was in X2, the second X-Men movie, right down below, played by Kelly Hu, I think it was. Kelly Hu, I think I remember that's her name. But I don't know if they'll bring her back to do this role, but who knows? Who knows what they might do? And if you're interested in Lady Deathstrike, well, you can get her first appearance in Daredevil number 197. And in Daredevil, now, I know you probably were guessing it's going to be a Wolverine book. It's not. It was a Daredevil book. In Daredevil 197, we actually get her first appearance as Yuriko, not as Lady Deathstrike yet. She was just a character who mixed it up and Daredevil saved in that issue. So this was her first appearance, and then we will see her later become this Lady Deathstrike character. But you can still surprisingly find this book occasionally for cheap. There are some Daredevil books out there. Sometimes you can find that Frank Miller run in those dollar bins. So kind of near that time frame, and right in there in that mix, you can find the 197 and find this thing. It could still sell for like, best offer on $10, $10 to like $13. That's the recent sales that we have there. Available copies anywhere from like $10 all the way up to $36. So it can get a little pricier if you get those higher grades, and just depending on the timing of when you look. But there are cheap copies out there. Again, I know $10 is not super cheap, but at the same time, it's not super expensive. And I'm not telling you to pay $10. I'm not telling you to pay market prices. I'm saying look for this in the cheap boxes. When you're digging, you hit Daredevil, this is one to look for. That's the point of this. That's why I'm trying to tell you these things. So you know these books. So when you are digging in those cheap boxes, you know what you're looking at. Now, if you want her first appearance as Lady Deathstrike, I believe we've talked about this once or twice before, maybe even. I mean, I've been doing this article and video series now for a couple of years, so some of these get mentioned a couple of times. But as Lady Deathstrike, she's really mixing it up in Alpha Flight 33, well, and I guess technically 34, because she's just that last page kind of cameo splash here on 33. You just get that one panel where there she shows up, and you don't really get a full explanation of her as a character. That's not until 34, but there she is. She's there in 33. So we're just going to do 33 today. And this thing, all over the place, really, up and down. You can see 33 and 34 as sets. These are sets that I found for the 2 issues. As cheap as $5, as expensive as $73. All over the place with these. But a lot of them are like in that $5 to kind of like $10 range. Also, depending on condition, you're paying $5 for two comics like this. You may not be getting the cleanest of copies. You're not going to send them into CGC and expect to get 9.8s if you're paying only $5. Most likely, you're getting reader level copies that are good to have in a collection, can fill your PC run, but you may not want to be displaying them on a wall anywhere because there's it could be some staining, some foxing, some creases, some spine ticks, maybe even a tear or two. Who knows? But that doesn't mean a comic is worthless just because it's a little loved. Like I don't mind it personally if it's for my own collection, if that's the only copy I can find at a cheap price. So keep that in mind as well. That said, copies available. Again, this is like $10. A lot of places list this for like $10. You can find it cheaper if you're patient. But what I'm saying again is dig in the dollar bins. That's what we're talking about here. And maybe Lady Deathstrike will be our female villain. Or maybe it'll be somebody else. Maybe it'll be somebody like Viper. You guys remember Viper? Because we have seen her as well in the movies. She was in The Wolverine, the one where, Wolverine faced the Silver Samurai, and we got Mariko, and we had Viper in there. Granted, she had like acid spit like powers and was like a snake lady, but Viper has been a few different things throughout the years. Viper has been in her original comic in Captain America 110. I'm just telling you this because was her first appearance, and she appeared first as Madam Hydra. Not as Viper, but as Madam Hydra, but it's the same character. So here she is as Madam Hydra. And I'm telling you this book just so you know it. You're probably not going to find this book in a dollar bin. This is like a $30 to $80 kind of comic. So you're not finding it in a dollar bin, most likely. I mean, if you do, God bless you. But I'm not telling you that you're going to. I just want to give you that information so you have it, that this is technically her first appearance, even if it is as Madam Hydra in Captain America 110. Now, she's also been through many, many issues. Again, going back all the way to Captain America 110, she's been through a lot of different situations and names. I mean, I think she's gone back to being Madam Hydra again at some point in Secret Warriors. But here in Captain America 180, 70 issues later, where Cap and Falcon running together, you see she actually takes the moniker of Viper. Now at this point, she's like, I'm no longer Madam Hydra, basically. I'm now, call me Viper. So this is the issue where she goes by Viper. And this issue also is one you might not find in the cheap boxes because it is the first appearance of Nomad, who you saw on the cover. So this book also got hot for a little bit. But when books get hot, they sometimes get forgotten about, because once we didn't really get Nomad, as people were maybe hoping in Falcon and Winter Soldier or whatever, they just kind of throw it away. And like, all right, nobody cares anymore. And things just get forgotten about again. And maybe you can find it in the cheap boxes because it can still sell for $15 to $35. So the chances are probably still pretty slim. I mean, that's worth it for a lot of dealers and whatnot to pull if they find it in a collection. It might be worth their time to pull it out of there and not just throw it in those, dollar bins to get rid of it. But you never know, because even when you look online, hey, 20 to $25 is the going rate. It's just good information to have. So once again, this is probably not what you're going to find for Viper, but it's just good to know that as well, that this is when she first took the name Viper. More interesting, I think, and if you want to look for a cheap book, and again, more of a scavenger hunt kind of vibe to this. This is not spec related. I'm not telling you go invest in this book for any reason other than give this a read because it's kind of fun and it might tie into stuff that they could possibly do. And that is tying Viper with Wolverine in this run right here around 125. Issue 125, which actually is a wraparound cover, milestone anniversary issue. She's there on the back. The reason why she's on the back is because we learn in this issue that she is actually married to Wolverine. That could be kind of fun, right? Wolverine's wife, an unexpected wife, surprise. A lot of jokes to be had there from Deadpool's side too, if they decide to go that route, with the jilted lover, all that kind of thing. A lot of material they can mine out of this if they were to go with that angle. And this is the issue where we find out that they were married. So keep that in mind. And this is also, like I said, it's a cheap book. I'm not saying it shouldn't be cheap. I'm just saying it is a cheap book. But if you find it for $1, just give it maybe pick it up, just give it a read. Because you can see copies are selling for like $3 or less. Even online, sells for like $3 and under. Asking price could be anywhere from like $3 up to $11. So still not a super expensive book. It is a milestone edition. There were a number of copies printed. Art's pretty decent inside and out. And like I said, it was kind of a fun little read. I remember it. All right, I do have one more option, and this is more of an off-the-wall kind of a throw dart at a wall, kind of a random thing that I think would just be cool. I have no inclination that they'd actually do this, but it would be great if they did. And I think I mentioned on TAC a couple of weeks ago that I think this would be cool if they did it. And Marco was on board because we were going to talk about one of his favorite characters, and I was going to pick out was Spiral. So Spiral, who you might know, works with Mojo. He created her, the 6-armed kind of a muscle assassin with all these swords. Again, could just be fun. It could be a fun visual to see on screen. The 6 arms with blades and all that stuff. And how fun would Mojo be as a villain with Deadpool and Wolverine? Like, it's not going to happen. But if it did, the craziness that could ensue, the weird fourth wall breaking meta layers that they could get into with Mojo and the television kind of universe, and you mix in Spiral, like, it would be insane. But I doubt that they would do that. But it would be fun, right? That said, finding Spirals first is also going to be one of those tough asks because it actually shares the first appearance with Longshot. So Longshot 1, again, is a book that people know I've been collecting, even speculating on for years, so it's probably not something you're going to find in the dollar bins, but I want to tell you about it anyway. And you can see here, there's our first appearance of Spiral there, down below in the corner. And yeah, there she is. It's not a lot. She doesn't have a lot to do in this issue. But I think she appears more in the miniseries. But this was the first appearance. So with that, let's just tell you, in case you find it, this is what you're looking at. This is a book that can sell around like 20, 25 bucks. Those are recent sales. Asking prices are also in that kind of $25 range. So if you do find it, that's what we're talking about. But once again, that's probably not going to be something you're going to find for her. And while she has been in a number of comics, throughout the years and stories. One that I do think you might be able to find and also could be kind of fun is a crossover with Wolverine and Mojo that ran through these 3 issues of Wolverine, 51, 52, and 53, where we're going to go through time and space with Mojo and you cross over with Wolverine. All you got to do is just throw Deadpool in the mix, and here we go. We got our story. I don't know. Again, they're not going to do it, but I still think it would be fun. And this again, these are the 3 issues that follow that milestone special issue Wolverine number 50 that has the claw cutouts. Always love that die cut cover. But these are the 3 issues after it. So print runs are still pretty high. So there are a lot of these still out there, which is why you can still find these for cheap. But maybe just pick them up for cheap just to read them. Here you can see, granted, that first one has 50 through 54, so it's 5 issues for 16 bucks. And then the bottom lot has 4 issues, 50 through 53. The ones I'm talking about is 51 to 53, but hey, look, you get an issue 50 thrown in for all of 6 bucks. 4 issues for 6 bucks. Ain't bad. Like I said, cheap books. Not saying they shouldn't be cheap books, just pointing out that they are cheap. And you can find the whole run for 6 bucks. 51, 52, and 53. It's only 6 bucks if you wanted to buy it online. But I'm just saying, if you happen upon them in the dollar bin, maybe consider it, because it could be kind of a fun little story to read. Because again, I don't believe that they actually do Mojo and Spiral in the movie, but it still would be a hell of a lot of fun. All right, moving on to another topic that we can cover. This was also news that hit like a week or 2 ago that we were going to get a new Catwoman. I think Catwoman's getting locked up or something. So then not a new character, a new individual takes over, the mantle of Catwoman. I think it's probably for a short time. And David Nakayama has her on the cover of this February. I don't know what issue this is. I don't know what number they're up to at this point, but it is the issue I think comes out in February. So keep that in mind. But the character is not brand new, has been around for a bit, and we got to go back to Catwoman number 35. This is the regular cover for this issue back in the New 52 days. I had talked about the B cover, which is the Halloween cover, the Monster Month, where it's Catwoman dumping out all the candy from the little pumpkin container. That's the B cover for this issue, but we already talked about it, so I didn't feel like we needed to show it again. But this is the first appearance of what was her name? It's like I can't think of what her name is, but this is her first appearance here in the issue. She has a few panels. It's not just this one. There's a few panels, part of the story getting introduced here. Oh, Aiko. Her name is Aiko. There it is. And she's getting introduced. Her father's introducing her to Selena, and this is where we first meet her in this issue 35. So it's one worth looking for, right? Could end up doing something, maybe one day. Who knows? I mean, it already does sell for like $7 to $10. It's not a ton, but a couple bucks. And there are copies also out there in that kind of $6 range. Plenty of, just again, cheap copies. It's not an expensive book, but maybe you find it in a dollar bin and you grab it just in case. All right. We're going to do something similar to what we did with the What If. Hey, why not? And pick out a couple of characters for another potential. Because we did get an announcement that they are looking for a Superman type to be the villain of the Thunderbolts movie. So a Superman type from the Marvel Universe. A lot of people immediately jump towards Sentry, which, it's possible, but I don't think that's the way they'll go. Personally, I just don't see it. You do the Sentry, you got to deal with the weird retconning him into the Marvel Universe and the kind of overpowered nature that he has, because it's not just Superman level powers. He also has the power of the void inside of him, and you got to explain that. And that could be a little weird topic to kind of cover, and maybe a little bit too big for just the Thunderbolts as well. But and you're also not going to find Sentry's first appearance, which was Sentry 1 back in Marvel Knights, from Jenkins and Lee. So you're probably not going to find that anyway. But if you do, that's the issue you're going to look for if you think Sentry is going to be the one. And like I said, you're not going to find $1. And this thing can hit up to $100 these days. People speculate on this book forever. So it's not a cheap one. It's definitely not a cheap one. Now, I know most people probably say it's the obvious answer, because it probably is. And I don't think that means it's the wrong answer. but I kind of feel like Hyperion might be the way they go. And you got Squadron Supreme. They can introduce their own kind of knockoff Justice League if they really wanted to, stick it to DC. I don't know, but Hyperion seems like a possibility. Granted, you got to go all the way back to Avengers. What is it, 85? Yeah, 85 for the first appearance of Hyperion. There are many different versions of the character. This is the version from Earth 712. Again, this is research I had to go and do because I knew there are a lot of them, and there are multiple versions. And I'm not giving you all of them. I'm going to give you a few of them, a few options. Just again, informational purposes, because you're not finding this book in a dollar bin. I'm just showing you. You only get this one panel as well, showing you Hyperion there in the back. But Hyperion's first was in Avengers 85, the Earth 712 version. Don't think that's the one we're going to get. And I believe that whole year, they all died. Like, I think somewhere along the line, they all died. Now, they did get rebooted. Marvel Max line. Straczynski rebooted Squadron Supreme with Supreme Power. This is yet another version of the character. Rebooting him, again, with the explicit, mature themes and whatnot. Basically following that Superman story, but kind of turning in its head a little bit. This is Earth 31916, whatever. I mean, if the numbering makes sense to you, God bless you. I just know that they throw numbers at these things and they're different universes. That's all I can tell you. I couldn't add a 616. I can't remember which one is which personally, but that's just because I don't pay too much attention to that kind of stuff. I just know that there's different stuff out there, different universes. So that's enough for me. That's enough knowledge for me to wrap my head around. I don't need to memorize all the numbers. But that said, if you do and you're curious, there is your number for this particular version. And this is a run and a series you could find still out there. It's just like the Supreme Power and all those mini series that followed with them. Again, even online, it's $2 to $3. Not expensive at all. And again, I'm not telling you it should be. I'm just pointing it out. It's going to be a fun thing for you to go and dig and find. Well, this is kind of a cool cover. And copies even now available $2 to $5. $2 to $5. Not expensive at all. Now, there was another version, yet another version, introduced in The Exiles. That was a fun title. That was a fun title with a whole team jumping through different universes of the multiverse. This would have been a fun team for them to introduce into the MCU. Now that we're in the multiverse saga, this could have been fun had they done it, but it doesn't look like we're getting that. But The Exiles could have been a fun little thing. And in this storyline, this King Hyperion, this runs through, I think, these 3 issues, 38, 39, and 40, maybe. But in this one, this is Earth 4023. We get this version of Hyperion, who actually ends up being a villain. I think this is the one that ends up being a villain in the Thunderbolts comic. I forget what issues those were. And I was going to bring those in here because I figured that would have been a good thing to tie in. Hey, you see that he was a villain. He fought, he was a villain and he fought Thunderbolts there. So why not him be the one in the movies? But I'm sure other people have already covered it. And I just was going with a different angle for it. So let's look at his first. And that's in Exiles 38. And this book can be found, as cheap as $1.50 to $3. And then there's a lot that had a best offer on $11.50. So under, probably around $10 or less. Got you all 3 issues of the King Hyperion storyline, including this introduction. So again, it's a cheap book. It's not expensive. And copies available online for $2, $3, $6. Not expensive at all. Something you can probably find in those dollar bins. And if it is the character that is in the Thunderbolts, I'm pretty sure this is the same one. The one from this story carries over and ends up in the Thunderbolts books. Maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't matter. It's $1. That's what I'm telling you to find. I got one more for you, I think. One more version of Hyperion that we did get in Avengers 1 during the Marvel Now. Not all new, and not all new now, and not all new Marvel now, but just regular Marvel Now. If that makes sense? No. Well, this isn't going to clear it up, but we get the Earth 13034 version, and this is yet another one. I think he lost his universe, and I think this is the version that lingers around the longest and the one that's still around, well, sort of today, or at least that ran through some of these titles that were in the late teens, like that solo series that I talked about in Chasing Ghosts. That's this is that character. That's this version carries through to that solo series. But before we get to that, this is the introduction in Hickman's run with Jerome Pena. Again, great run, great art, great read. Get it for that reason alone, because it's cheap and you can probably find it for $1. Sure, copies sell for like $5 or $6, but It's still not super expensive. You could probably find it out there if you dig. Copies, even online, are only $3, $5, $6. Still pretty darn cheap. So just another option for you while you're out there digging, just kind of for fun, scavenger hunt style. I'm giving you some things just to go look for that are just, I think, worth picking up if you can find them for cheap. That's all. And like I mentioned, he is the one that carries over into the solo series that we did the variants on Chasing Ghosts, all the 1 in 25s for the first 3 issues. But here's the regular cover, the regular issue. And yeah, why not? Right? I think it was 6 issues total for the whole series. Keep an eye out for him. It could be a fun read. I actually haven't read this series, so I don't know if it's any good, but I'm looking for it. So that's why I'm putting it in my list, because like, I'm going to look for it. For $1, it's probably out there. I'll look for it. Tell you guys to look for it too, because once again, these don't sell for a lot. This is Hyperion 1. Even online, it sells for 99 cents, up to $9. But there's one sold for $1. And that's not an auction price at $1. That was a buy it now or best offer for $1. So it's even cheap when dollar been digging online. But copies I found today when I went looking, $5 to $7 ish. Again, it's kind of on that cover to a little bit more, just to kind of cover costs and fees. And think of that too. When you're buying things off of eBay, you might be, hey, that book's only this much, but the person selling it to you still has to pay for the Gemini mailer. They got to pay the fees to eBay. They got to ship it and all that stuff. Any other shipping costs, ink for their printers. There's a lot goes into it. They want to just give stuff away. So yes, paying $5 or $6 might seem like a lot for a comic, but think of what you're getting for it. You're getting the convenience of having it delivered right to you. You don't have to go out there digging. So keep that in mind too. But that said, this is my pick who is probably most likely if they go that evil Superman, or we want a Superman powered level character. This would be my best guess, and that I would agree with. But my other dark horse candidate, kind of like the Spiral pick for the female villain, this would be cool if they did it. And I kind of hope that they do, but I doubt that they will. And my next pick would be another Superman level powered character, and that's Gladiator. Part of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard. I love the Shi'ar. I love the X-Men. I love the X-Men space stuff. That's what I was hoping they were getting to before Fox lost they got bought, but before Fox stopped making the movies. I thought that's where they were going. It looked like they were angling towards space again before just giving us the Dark Phoenix saga again. All right, whatever. I was hoping for this. I was hoping for more. I'm still hoping for it. And I kind of hope that maybe the MCU takes them out there, because then they can give us the X-Men and do it differently than we've seen it already before and give us a different flavor. But it's not completely out of the ballpark of what they've done in the stories and in the comics, because they've done a lot in the comics. And one of the things was the X-Men went to space. So give me the X-Men in space. You can make a new alien race. Give me the Shi'ar. That said, Gladiator. You're not going to find his first, obviously, in the dollar bins, because, it's a pricey book already. These X-Men books have gotten pricey over the years, and X-Men 107 is one of those ones that has jumped over the last few years. So Starjammer's first appearance is here as well, and you can see the back of Gladiator right down there on the bottom of that cover. So he's right there on the cover. So I'm not even going to show you inside the guts of where he first appears, because he's right on the cover. So just keep that in mind. But you're not going to find that book. But a book that I do think would be interesting, and one you probably can find in those cheap boxes, is this. War of the Kings was also a fun crossover event. Again, I love the space stuff. I want Annihilation, War of the Realms, War of the Kings. That's was some fun stuff. The Abnett and Lanning team, they did some fun cosmic stories. And I'd love to see more of it. That said, War of the Kings, Who Will Rule, is the issue where, Lilandria was gone, I think, and Deathbird was also gone. He was one of the leads of the Imperial Guard, and he ended up becoming Emperor. This was after Vulcan. So we had the third Summer's brother, Emperor Vulcan. This is after he gets dethroned, and then Lilandria and her sister, they're not around, so he becomes Magistrix. Is that what they call it? Or the Emperor? Anyway, Gladiator gets to be in charge in this book. So their Superman powered character gets to be in charge. And that was kind of fun. That was kind of cool. So it's, again, one of those books you can find for cheap. Look, online, copy sold for $4. It's not expensive. Available copies still in that kind of $4 range, but I'm sure you can find this in a dollar bin out there if you go digging for a little bit. And with that, I got one more for you. Not the Superman power character, but a whole nother topic, because today we did get the Transformers trailer. So I'm going right to the minute with this one. Transformers, Rise of the Beast trailer. So we get the Maximals and some old school Autobots. Trailer looked good to me. Not great, but CGI looked decent. And I like the old school classic look of Optimus, like Optimus in the red flat front truck. Like that's the Optimus I know, not that weird blue rig they made in the Michael Bay movies. So the classic looks for these characters, big fan of that angle. I don't know too much about the the Beast, the Beast Wars and all that stuff, but I'm interested enough to go and check this out. But one person I did notice in the background of the trailer, well, not maybe background, she had a few spots, is RC. So we got to see RC, one of the first female Transformers I can recall seeing, watching Transformers as a kid. So I recognized RC, and I liked, again, she had that kind of classic look to her. We'll see. But she was also in the animated movie, and her first appearance is in the adaptation for Transformers the movie. Again, you also get like a um it's Ultra Maximus, I think, in here as well, and you get why am I Unicron? I was like, I'm blanking for some reason. Unicron. There's some firsts in this issue, so this is a decent book, and there are a lot of them. And I found this plenty of times in the dollar bins before. They're still out there, but also in this issue, let's not forget we do get, I think, RC's first appearance as well. So if you like RC, you're excited for this movie. Those Beastmaster or Beast Wars comics are tough to come by. Their first appearance, so that was an angle I couldn't take. I couldn't take that, so I went with RC. And this is a book. Even now, it doesn't sell for a whole heck of a lot. It's sells for $10, so a copy sold for $10 somewhat recently, and asking prices are in that like $10 to $15 kind of range. But like I said, I found these in those cheap boxes before. I'm sure if you go out there digging, you might get lucky and find it too. So that's what I'm telling you to go check out. And that's all I got for you this week. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully you're still enjoying this series. Make sure you go and tell me your best dollar bin find along with a number 1 through 12. That's not number 7, so you can take part in the giveaway. And I'll give you guys through Saturday. So you got the rest of tonight. You got Friday. You got Saturday. Once it becomes Sunday, I'm cutting it off. And I'm going to film a little announcement video to announce who the winner is, and I'll show off the books that they won for the pack that they chose, because I have all the packs. They're all made up right here next to me. I showed them on the tax show last night. I numbered them on the tax show last night. Got 12 packs randomly inserted. I'm not changing them up. If anything, I'm adding a little bit to them today that what wasn't in there yesterday. So, yeah, they're getting stuffed a little bit more just for fun. Again, this is just stuff for me to give away to you guys. I'm not here to promote anything other than a love of comic books. That's what this is all about. I love comics. I love pop culture. I love movies. I love toys. And I hope you guys do too. And I'm just sharing that love and giving this stuff away. I'm not going to try to sell it to you. Just going to give it away to you. So hopefully you don't mind, and hopefully you take part. I want everybody to take part. So like, subscribe, tell your friends, all that fun stuff. Let's keep growing the channel. Let's all keep growing this community, and let's be positive about this stuff, and let's just have fun talking about comic books. Not everything has to be controversy or negative. Let's just enjoy it. This should be fun. If it's not fun, why are you doing it? I don't know. Maybe that's just my take. Like, disagree with me, like it, whatever. I don't know. I'm just going to do what I do. And those that are interested, you're welcome to come with me. So with that, comment down below, and I'll see you guys soon with some more content. And make sure you stop by on Sunday, because maybe we'll do another giveaway. I don't know. Again, they're going to pop up here and there over the next, 25 days, 24 days? Probably cut it off before Christmas Eve. Next 24 days, I still got 10 more after the one we've just announced today. So we still got 10 more giveaways to scatter throughout this month. Just keep an eye out. It could pop up anywhere. All right? Later.